welcome back to the MVP podcast, and this is our second episode of our Last Dance review. My name is B-Man, and I'm here with Sosa Sos with the sauce. We've got Naeem the Dream, and we've got Tariq also. Mandem, well on.
Right, first of all,
what's happening, brother?
Like the video. If you like like the video.
He's missed not being able to do that recently.
I know you guys missed.
Sosa, B-Man did that last week. It wasn't the same, man.
It wasn't the same. It was not the same, Sosa. It really wasn't.
Oh, man. I did it as well, you know. The video that's going to come out in a few days' time, you'll see I did this. I even referenced Sosa as well.
Yeah, you have to reference Sosa, man. That's copyright. That's copyright.
When
else, so copyright them. This is the internet.
When B-Man did it, I disliked the video.
That is dead. Anyway, guys, we're gonna review the last two episodes that got dropped last Sunday, and it was really all about Dennis Rodman, really. So, what do you guys make of it? What did you make of the first two episodes, Sosa? Well, the second set of two episodes.
I'm gonna let you into a little thing that happened. Well, not happened, but when I was a kid, I used to have posters in my wall. I used to have a Bruce Lee poster. I used to have a Friday poster. My brother used to bring back magazines, these NBA magazines, and I took out the inlet, you know, the middle bit, which has like the poster in it.
Yeah.
How do I guess who I had hanging on my wall when I was like 13, 14?
Dennis Rodman.
Yes, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman. My brother gave me that back in like 98 times. That was back when he had the actual, it looked like, I thought it was leopard print, but it was the 33s apparently. And like, I'm a massive fan of Dennis Rodman because of that. I didn't really know much about him, but after seeing what I've known now, it's like, whoa, this guy's like he's had a life. He's had a life. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about him because I watched the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys documentary. So I knew he was on that team and how good he was and stuff. But what I always wanted to know was how they went from those battles with the Bulls to him then playing for the Bulls. So that's the bit I really wanted to see on this documentary. And then obviously we got to see how he was traded, and I went to San Antonio first and then eventually ended up on the Bulls. That's the bit I wanted to see. But yeah, I always knew he was a bit crazy with the lifestyle and things like that. I didn't know the story about him going to Vegas, having that 2-day holiday and stuff. I didn't know half that stuff, man. Like, I'd heard a lot. I knew how good he was as a player, but I didn't know just how crazy this guy was. They had to go and find him in his hotel in Vegas and bring him back. No, that was wicked, man.
I didn't know that he was actually a normal kid before all the craziness. I just thought maybe like when he was young, he was like a bad child, or like he had like ADHD, or, you know, he had something. Maybe I thought he was like rebellious as a child or something, but he was normal. He was talking about how he avoided drugs and gangs and all of that other stuff, and he just played basketball, and you know, he was normal for the first couple of years. And then he very clearly said, I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but the Pistons made me like this. The Pistons taught me to be like this. The Pistons showed me the way, this bad boy way, this lifestyle, this party, because he was like, you know, happiness was like looking at the stars and spending time with family, and, you know, like all the simple things we cherish now. And they taught him like a lavish, crazy way, and, you know, leopard prints and all these rings and earrings and lip rings, and yeah, it's not a pretty sight to look at.
That was what a bad boy was. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't even know if he's like acting out in his 50s or something, midlife crisis. I don't know what it is, but obviously he had depression and all of that as well. He had some serious things at the time. But yeah, the surprising thing was he didn't come from like a trouble background or anything like that. It was just something he picked up later. So they didn't get too much into that, but it was still cool.
It's do you know what the funny thing about that is I saw during the documentary when he hit that moment where he was like, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. But I feel like the Chicago Bulls, well, the whole situation that happened around him kind of pushed him in that direction where he felt the need to kind of express himself. And I think that's where all the earrings then started to come out, the hair colors, the lip ring, the nose ring, that lavish lifestyle. And he embraced it. And although it's quite out of the norm, but there's been plenty of NBA players that have gone out of their way to express their own freedom. AI did it with the way that he dressed. He was the one that kind of, I want to say revolutionized, but he changed the way that basketball players were dressed. It wasn't like sweatpants and joggings anymore. It was more about, well, this is who I am. I wear baggy jeans, I wear baggy clothes. Don't change who I am. I'm gonna do it my way. And I felt like he did the same. He did the same. He just did it in a way that a lot of people don't find acceptable, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he said it throughout the whole thing that Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, they accepted who he was and his lifestyle off the court as long as he just played hard every time. And just because every time he played, this guy was this amazing defender. He just did everything they needed him to do. So it's like, once you do that on the court and you play your game, we don't care what kind of life you lead off the court. You know what I mean? As long as you're here, playing for the team, and just doing what we need you to do.
Is that tenacity though, isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy's just tenacious. And that's the thing. Even in the documentary, he said, like, when you're inside the four squares, when you're on the court, it's nothing. That to me is easy. But it's the things that come once they left the court.
Yeah.
And the reality of the matter is the Chicago Bulls were such a big team that it wasn't enough for you to just be a good player. You had to be a good player.
Yeah.
But you had to also have a very strong character to accept everything that the media were going to throw at you. And we've seen it plenty of times. Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs, the Golden State Warriors, is that when you're winning, everyone is on your back. And that pressure can bring the worst or the best out of people.
He ended up winning 5 rings, is that right?
Yeah, 2 with the
Yeah.
Pistons, 3 with the...
2 of the Pistons.
Crazy, man. Do you know... Oh, sorry, go on.
No.
I was going to say, do you know, in today's NBA, like the antics that he did and the benders, like the... Not even 48 hours, it was like 80-something hours or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was days. He was gone for days.
Days, yeah. Would people get away with that now, do you think? Do you think he would get away with that?
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
Do you think, here's an even better question. Like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, they accepted him for who he was back then. Do you think there's a franchise or a collection of superstars like that would accept him today for who he is, with all the baggage that he brings?
You'd have to be a winning organization.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, winning covers up all your problems. It's when you start to lose that the things that didn't matter all of a sudden matter. So if you're winning, communication is not even an issue. You might not even be friends, but you're winning. But the moment that you're losing, all the little things that didn't matter then all of a sudden matter. That's why at Detroit Pistons, it was whatever it was. And then at Chicago, because they were winning, it was okay. Again, all Michael Jordan and the rest of the team cared about was winning rings. And they did that. So I feel like that's what saved him, the fact that they were winning.
I was just shocked with how his focus and drive, like they had videos of him just sitting there by himself, just watching tape of guys. And he was talking about, okay, when the ball hits the rim, okay, if it lands on that part of the rim, that's where it's going to go. If it lands on that part of the rim, that's where it's going to go. His focus and his drive, because his hair and all that, it masks the genius that he had in regards to knowing what he was capable of, and then getting to that point where he was levels above other people in regards to defense, because that's what he was there for. So he knew, I'm not going to get 40 points a game. I'm going to get 20 rebounds though. And it's incredible how focused and drive, how he had that drive in him to do that. And that's why it worked. If it wasn't for that, then we wouldn't be talking about Dennis Rodman.
Do you know what, Naeem? Can I go back to that question that you just asked? Can you elaborate on that? You said, do you think that there would be a NBA team today that would accept antics? That's what you asked, right?
I said, would there be a team in today's current NBA that would accept the way he was and all the antics that came with it and the baggage? Yeah.
And T, you said no.
I agree with you to some extent. You've got to be part of a winning team. Because if you're winning, then no one cares about that stuff. But the reason why most teams won't accept it is because nowadays there's just a camera or a phone in your face all the time. Yeah. All that stuff he would have done, someone would always be recording him. Like if he's always going out, people would have been following him to Vegas. There would have been cameras just behind him at all times. And that would have just led back to the team. all the questions would have been about him. And I just think the more that continued, eventually, like, teams would stop, like, accepting that kind of stuff. But then again, yeah, it does come down to winning. So if you're winning championships at the end of it every single year and he's still doing that, you can justify it. But the moment you're not, that's going to be the reason why they lost.
Do you know how I wanted to wrap my head around all
Mm.
of that is, if he was in the NBA today with those exact same antics, would he be in the NBA? But I think with his skill set and how good he is, even with that baggage, I think teams would gamble on him. But the only
Yeah.
teams that would gamble on him are those winning teams. So I could imagine the Lakers going after him. I can imagine the Clippers going after him. I can imagine the Golden State Warriors going after him. So I think in today, those antics would work if you are a specialist in something that could help a team.
To be fair, his antics right now, obviously apart from going missing for days, weren't out outrageous as what people are doing nowadays. You see guys that are going to the clubs, you see guys that are fully tattooed, because that's what really was. They were shocked to see someone having so many tattoos, to have their hair dyed, to see that they have, piercings on them. There's plenty of guys that got piercings and their hair dyed in the NBA. There's plenty of people that have, they live a different lifestyle to other people. Some might not be married, some might have, I don't know, they might have other interests outside of basketball than just training. And I think he'd just be fine in here. Like I wouldn't see nothing, like, from what T said, I think teams would still take a chance on him because of, if he's good enough to play and if he's good enough to perform, there's no reason why they wouldn't try him. At least because there's not going to be anything worse than that, than what we've seen here. Like, if that's the worst it's going to get, then as a GM, I would take him.
Yeah, but no one goes on 2-day benders nowadays.
No one goes on 2 days benders. Yeah, that's fair.
During the
That's
season.
fair.
Yeah, but the
That was
reality
a one-off.
is,
It didn't happen like every season. That's what the whole point is.
yeah, but do you know what? Stuff like that could have happened, but they
Yeah.
would put that out in the media anyway.
Mm.
So I can.
And it's called sickness.
Yeah, obviously, players, they will give players breaks. It's just that he decided to do that with his break as opposed to just being on like a little holiday of his own. But at the end of the day, though, what that says to me is it works. Sometimes you need to let players go away and blow off some steam so that they then can come back more focused, because the reality of the matter is it could have gone a lot worse. Not only was Scottie Pippen talking about, I'm going to leave, but then you're going to have Pippen feeling like he doesn't belong in the team anymore because it is Jordan and Pippen. And I think at the end of the day, isn't that what he wanted all along? It's just the fact that he wanted to be in a situation where he was needed, not where he was just a part of what's going on. And I think the fact that Michael Jordan really said to him, like, look, I need you. Without you, we can't do it. That's what worked so well for them.
I think he had the benefit of basically being part of a big three, but not getting the credit in the sense that it's the big three. Like, he could like go under the radar, do his thing, live his life, be his way, but then on the court, all the stats, everything would show up. And now you got big three. It's like you got big three on camera, big three off camera. The Miami three, the Lakers two, like all these places. There it was like big three on the court, off the court. It was everyone saying Jordan and Pippen. No one saying Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. That's probably a fair way to look at it as well.
Let me ask you guys. Obviously, they won even before he got there, but did they win those three without Rodman?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I think obviously the team changed a little bit as well. Obviously, Jordan came back, team was a little bit different, so they needed him to kind of give them the extra edge. Because at that time, Utah was a big challenger out in the West. Houston was big because they just won 2 rings, so they needed the extra size and just strength, man. Honestly, like some of the rebounds, the amount of times he tapped the ball to get the rebound.
Yeah, it's like he was juggling.
It's like playing on the courts on the streets.
See,
technique.
He is one of the greatest rebounders of all times. To say, would they need him? He was one of the greatest rebounders of all times. The fact that was what he became, could they find anyone else that could ever even come close to living up to that? Which is a guy that not only didn't care that much about offense, but completely bought in with the team. It's just like every every angle that you look at, it fitted the team perfectly. But let me ask you guys this, yeah? Do you know when they were talking about the Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Pistons beat them twice in a row in the playoffs? Do you know when they always talk about that Michael Jordan went to World Cup and the whole summer was all about, it was geared towards beating the Pistons? Do you feel like people have blown that out of proportion because it's Michael Jordan?
I think that was his challenge. That was the challenge in front of him at the time, and that was a challenge that 2 years in a row they failed to get over. And they probably put two and two together as a team, as a unit, and realized that we're not strong enough to beat these guys. So how do we beat these guys? Because we think we're better than them, but we're just not strong enough. So obviously they all put on a bit of size, like Michael Jordan, Pippen. They bulked up a bit. They got stronger. But then they also played with their head as well, and they realized, like they said, the mental weakness. Don't let them see that you're hurt. Don't let them see that you're falling or whatever. Don't let them see that. So I think it came with the time. I think for example, LeBron, he needed that final loss in Cleveland to realize he can't win a ring here and he has to go somewhere else. And then he went to Miami. He won the title. He took that clutch thing off where he's not clutch, and he's all of a sudden he's a clutch player. Everyone has that sort of mental body. All the greats do. For him, it was the Pistons, and I'll let you get into the Pistons after. But yeah, I think that's my take on that.
I was going to say, I think that him getting stronger was just one aspect of it, because he knew how they were going to play him. He knew exactly what their strategy was. Every time he tried to go to the basket, someone will take him out. So it's him just being smarter, making sure he gives it to his teammates, just plays the game differently because they lost twice. So him just getting stronger, I don't think was the only factor. It was just one of a few things.
No. I agree with T. I think it was more of a case of he worked out as a frustration because they kept on, essentially they were bullying him. Every time, they wouldn't let him get in the air. Every time that he tried to drive to the lane, he was clattered. They kept on throwing mad teams, like double teams at him. So I'm not surprised that he wanted to go to the gym and get stronger, just so he can actually, if he was to drive to the rim, he can take contact and at least do something rather than just him get hit and then fall on the floor. That's my mentality. That's my thinking of why he did that.
But I feel like, when it came down to that third year where he beat them, like T said, it was all up in here more than anything. I don't feel like it was like the fact that he was stronger and he could take contact.
No, yeah, it wasn't that. Like, I think that it was just the means for him to his frustration as far as him losing so many times. Yeah. And obviously he's channeled that into to getting stronger. Obviously, it's not just a case of physically, but I'm assuming that with that he'd have to try and find another level mentally.
From my perspective, I feel like what really made the difference is, one, Jackson, the coach.
Yeah, 100%.
Because once he came in, it was like, okay, well, cool. I do not need Michael Jordan to be the focal point of the offense. I mean, how easy is it to guard a team that runs through one guy every single time? The fact that he's getting clattered is because the guy kept wanting to do it on his own. The major difference in that third year wasn't the fact that he bulked up. It was the fact that he realized, no, if I give the ball to my teammates when they're coming towards me, I am more likely to win games now. And you saw that. I hit Paxson hit a three. Like, hold up, wait a minute. That was easy. Let me try that again. Dribble, boom, Paxson is free. Boom, he makes it. And I feel like that's what changed his career. It was the idea that it's not about Jordan anymore. It's about the Bulls. You want to win, you have to buy into that mentality where it's about us now. And if I can elevate their game, then the team's game will elevate alongside it. I feel like that's what changed their course, not the fact that he went to the gym. Yes, he became stronger. It helps.
Oh yeah. If you're talking, I thought you're talking individually. If you're talking as a team effort, yeah. I think more of the onus would be on Phil Jackson. Yeah. Like before, I didn't know this. I didn't know that Phil Jackson was a player and won championships with the Knicks. I didn't know that. Yeah. So like the fact that he was already a winner, coming into the situation where he was an understudy, and like was learning about the team, and then finally became the head coach. I think his style and his team orientation, that's what really drove them and put them over the edge, I reckon. Nice. Obviously, when they got to playing with the Pistons, you're only as good as your team around you, and obviously Jordan needed to get his team involved, and so that's part of the reason.
Nice.
I was going to ask: Is Phil Jackson overlooked in the Chicago 6 rings? Because a lot of people always say Jordan got 6, but Jordan didn't get anything before Phil Jackson came, and Jordan was considered one of the greatest players ever at that point. In his second, third year, people are already saying we've never seen anything like it. But those adjustments, those changes that you guys alluded to, the triangle and giving other people a chance, and you not having to do 90% of the workload. Does Jackson not get enough credit? Because I feel like in the Chicago 6 he doesn't get enough credit. In the Lakers 5 he does, but in the Chicago 6 he doesn't.
Because Jordan was that good, he was always going to take the shine away from everyone anyway. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, what is really easy to say, if you'd never, let's say he won those 6 rings and never came back to the NBA and said, you know what, I've done what I needed to do, I'm over and done with, they will always credit those rings to Michael Jordan. But the reason why he's so revered when he went to the Lakers is because, wait, hold up, he did it with Jordan, and now he's gone to the Lakers and he's done it with Kobe and Shaq. Yeah. This guy's the real deal. He did it at 2 teams, 2 different playing styles, 2 different eras, if you want to say that. And I think then people started to appreciate, like, yeah, okay, well, this guy actually is making a massive difference. Because not only did he three-peat once, he three-peated twice, and now he's gone to another team and three-peated again.
And he went to 3 finals after as well. They won 2, but still.
Yeah, so...
that guy's a winner.
That guy, he takes it all out. But what do you make of the Piston guys, the bad boy Pistons? What do you make of them?
They're nasty, man. Honestly, like, it's horrible. Stuff like that, again, it wouldn't be allowed today. You wouldn't be allowed to walk off without shaking hands. You wouldn't be allowed to hit someone like that. You wouldn't be allowed to. It's bad, man. And that was the NBA back then. So that's what it was. They got away with what they could get away with.
Can I say something? No, they're called the Detroit Pistons NBA champion bad boys. That's what they are, man. They are the champion bad boys. They're not just any bad boys. They won rings doing that.
Not for a second will I ever hold that against them, because they found a way of playing that not only suited their team, but it got them to win games. If it's winning, sure, whatever, clatter.
No. I thought you were just referring to the Pistons generally. Like, I think all of that went out the window when they walked off. Isaiah Thomas's legacy got tarnished the moment they walked off and got sore losers. I think that sore losers kind of overshadows everything, unfortunately. For me personally, because I agree with
That's true.
I agree with both of you, in fact. I love what they did. Like, they took advantage of the rules. They took advantage of the lack of rules, the lack of officiating, the fact that the NBA didn't protect Michael Jordan at the beginning. They took advantage, respect to them. They used the brains. They used the brains and the fists and the elbows and other parts of the body. But the minute that you did that, genuinely, and the documentary kind of overplays it because it's a Bulls documentary and they hate the Pistons. But the minute you did that, you kind of lost respect in everyone's eyes. And you know that the whole world is watching this documentary right now. And they're all like, Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan that. Even non-Bulls fans are becoming like Michael Jordan fans. And now when you watch episode 2 and 3 and 4, you're like, Piston haters on top. Isaiah Thomas haters on top.
Do you know, if your whole life revolves around the basketball, and you are known as a winner, right? Which that team was, and Isaiah Thomas was as well. You're known as winners. You just got smacked. You just lost. You're the reigning champions and you just got swept.
Yeah.
If emotions take over, you decide, you know what? I hate these guys, which I think is beautiful for sports, by the way. I hate these guys and I hate them so much. Do you know what? By the end of the game, I'm not going to shake their hands because I am going to see them next year and I'm going to pay them back. No. If they paid them back, I swear to God, this whole story would have been completely different. If the Pistons came back and beat them and really got into their heads, everyone would have perceived that as different, because even in the video, he said, Boston Celtics did that to us. They walked off the court. So why is it that why is Larry Bird not disrespected? And he's considered the best of all times. He walked off. So if someone else can do it, but then I get vilified for it, then the fact of the matter is, you didn't hate because we walked off. You just hated the fact that we won the way that we did. And I think that's how I'm going to take it. I have no problems whatsoever.
What you're forgetting in all of that is that Larry Bird did that, or whoever you say they did that. When Michael Jordan lost twice, he gave them a hug. He wasn't a champion at that point, but he was still considered the best player in the NBA. He gave them a hug. He gave them words, whatever it was. There wasn't anything nasty said. It was all love. Like at the end, after taking lumps and bumps and beatings and bruises, he still went and shook the hand, all of them. They didn't do that, and they got the best of them twice. So that's why he's a sore loser. And I've always liked Isaiah. I've always liked him. But and I still like him. But he's a sore loser.
Nah.
As a player, he's a sore loser. It's a fact.
To me, it's just about competitive nature. I don't need anyone ever in any type of sports to be nice to each other, ever.
Roy Keane would shake your hand at the end of the game. And he's a dirty guy.
What? The guy that broke another man's leg because he got tackled.
Yeah,
what?
That was on the pitch. But I'm just saying sportsmanship. He got his punishment. He got his red card.
But that's not enough.
That's
Naeem, that's not enough. That's not enough. It's not enough, Naeem. That is not enough.
The point is, at the end of the day, the sportsmanship's there for a reason. Yeah,
it is.
Those guys lacked class.
I love the Pistons. Like I said, I watched a documentary about them before. I love the way they play. Like, I would love that type of physicality in today's game. Like, the foul calls you get nowadays are just so annoying compared to what they used to allow back then. And the shaking hands bit, I understand where you're coming from, B-Man, about the competitiveness, but it's just the fact that Michael Jordan, even after losing to him a second time, shook their hands. Like, I just think at least one of them could have, like, returned the favor in that sense. But I don't mind the way they play because they won 2 championships. And it was the fact that the league was all about Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. And they just kept disrupting it, and people didn't like the way they played, and they were just villains, but they played up to it. That's what I loved exactly what they did. And they just disrupted all of that. Celtics, Lakers, Bulls, all these big franchises were winning championships, taking over the league. And these guys were just coming in there, just tearing everyone apart, fouling the way they played. But I got no problems. I love that team, man.
I'm not upset about them not shaking hands. Like, if you feel that, if you feel like that way that you felt in the defeat, then yeah, just get out of there and then just gather your thoughts and then just leave. Don't, if you feel like, it's that serious, don't shake their hands. Like, if it's that deep, don't do it. And the fans probably love the fact that they didn't do it. I know Detroit Pistons fans would be loving the fact that they didn't bother going and shaking their hands. So I don't blame them.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're gonna have to put a stop to it there. Guys, I really appreciate you for coming on. And Sosa?
Yo, guys, if you like the video, subscribe if you're new, share with a friend. Listen, before anyone goes, do me a favor, in the comments section, if you got to this part of the video, write down Dennis Rodman in the comments. That's what I want to see, just to see how people get to the end.
Okay, guys. Anyway, we'll close it off there, and then we're going to be back again soon. So, peace.